It's a tough place to be when you're in trouble, because when you're in trouble, you're all by yourself. You're all alone in it, especially at certain transitional ages. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Muslim Parents. Now, in this video, I want to tackle a really important topic, and that is parenting, perfectionism, and possibilities. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that oftentimes as parents, and I'm a parent, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, we want perfection out of our children, and we're not going to get it. Or we're seeking that perfect parenting experience. That typically does not happen. It's never going to happen because we're dealing with human beings just like we are. So we're imperfect. So to expect perfection out of our children is not going to happen. Whether they're very small, whether they're adult children, and we call them children because they're younger than us and they're our babies. But to expect that out of them is just not realistic. Now, are we going into it saying, okay, you must be perfect? No, but the expectations are so high that they're reaching the heights of perfectionism. So understanding that our kids are going to make mistakes, understanding that they must make mistakes or must take the mistakes that they're making and learn from them is important. They're not going to go through life without them. We have to know that because we don't have the life of perfection that Rasulullah, he had the life of perfection. We don't get that attribute, none of us. So we're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to worship Allah Ta'ala and offer dua and offer salat that it may be accepted, inshallah. If Allah wills, we don't know. We don't know. So when we go off into the world and we say, okay, child, I'm going to have children, I'm going to create a family, establish a family with my husband and have children with him, the bar that we set has to be attainable for our children. So this impossible bar of, you can't mess up, you can't make a mistake is, again, not realistic. So if they do bump their heads and we meet them with so much crushing judgment, are they really going to get the lesson? That's important, especially as they get older, because then they'll remember we came down super hard on them. We weren't trying to understand. We might have given them a warning. They still messed up. They're still going to mess up. Because again, it's about what they do when our backs are turned, because most children exhibit really great behavior in front of their parent because the parent is right there in front of them. They can touch them. They're tangible. But when we are not right in front of them, that's where the test begins. But we must know them going into a test, they're going to bump their head, they're going to make a mistake, and prayerfully they learn from the mistakes, inshallah. Just like us, being adults. We're going to make mistakes. Even if we have every desire not to, even if we have every intention not to, we still make mistakes. And we must just be as understanding with our children as we are with ourselves. Because sometimes kids won't talk to us or they'll bottle everything up inside if they think they're going to get met with consistent judgment from their parents or their parents. It's a tough place to be when you're in trouble, because when you're in trouble, you're all by yourself. You're all alone in it, especially at certain transitional ages, teens, tweens, when they're transitioning from elementary school to middle school. Those really, middle school to high school is really tough, especially in these days and times where they have so much access to the internet. The internet has so much access to them. The judgment is right there. So if they have Instagram, Facebook, if they have TikTok, if they have Snapchat, if they have any of those things, the judgment is constantly coming all day. What they wear, what they say, what they do, how they do it, how they speak, where they're from. There's classism, there's colorism, there's racism, there's white supremacy. They're met with it all the time. Especially children that specifically are racially ambiguous, or they're brown, they're Black American, they're Mexican American, whatever it is. of color, they are going to stick out, especially in a society that's built to just serve a certain look, the Euro standard of beauty. So for myself, I'll give an example. Grew up in all white schools in the Midwest, the upper Midwest. As a young black girl, that was not easy because the standard was from the beauty standard was, oh, if your nose is this shape or your mouth is this shape or this size, or if your hair look this way or not that way. If you're too light, you're too dark. All those different things that I was held to. So no one was saying outside of my relatives and my family who were also black saying, you're beautiful. I love this about you. I love your nose. I love your skin color. They weren't saying that in the school that I was in because we were the minority. There was only a few children of color or black children in the school. So we were met with all kinds of colorism, classism, racism, and white supremacy. We just were. Whether it be right up in your face or passive aggressively, microaggressions, it was all types of things. And then, now that was from the adults. And then if it was from the children can be very blunt and straightforward to the point and cruel. It was not easy. So you're getting it from the grown-ups and you're getting it from the children. And then staff might give you a little microaggression here or there. Now, some people don't know, and for those of you that are new, my paternal grandparents raised me, so I constantly in school got reminded that my mother didn't want me, she didn't want to be bothered. Well, you know, the grandparents take care of her. Yes, there's some abandonment issues. Now, I didn't know what that meant when I was younger, but I remember hearing the words. Now I know what it means. Now I know how it affected me as a youth. So the last thing I needed was to go home and get met with judgment and dealing with it all day long. So one thing my grandparents did tell me, they said, I don't care how good or bad something is, always let us know. But I still had some fear because sometimes if you didn't let them know right away, you got in trouble for that. And then I went, well, I won't let them know. I'll just deal with it on my own. But that adds a lot of pressure to the child, to the children, to the little people, the younger children, and to the adult children. It's not easy. So let's be very mindful. I had to learn. My children have been some of my greatest teachers on what to do, what not to do, what worked for them, what didn't work for them. It was a lot of trial and error. But once I figured some things out, because I was a 20-year-old mother when I first had my first daughter and a new wife. So for me, it was a lot of things that I was transitioning into. And I was raised a different way than I raised my children with my husband. So I had to learn a lot, unlearn a lot. I had to listen to them and say, okay, well, maybe this is how it went for the child, because this is what they said. Now, some of my children were easier to raise than others. Some I was met with more challenge, I would say. But for those that I wasn't met with a lot of challenge, those children did deal with a lot of things on their own and because of their shyness. So I had to go, okay, my child is shy. I might have to pull it out of them a little bit and ask some more questions and dig a little deeper. Although the answer might be scary, I might have to do a little bit more work. As a mother, I'm already working really hard, but I might have to do more for the sake of the child. So I'm so grateful that they were some of my best teachers. They still are. I still learn from them. They still help me discover new things about growing up in this day and age. And I don't want to meet them with so much opposition that they feel as though they can't express what it's like for them to grow up in these times and to be young adults in these times. So yes, you're not going to get perfection. Don't look for it and don't expect it, and don't add that pressure to your children. Can I make you do anything? No, I always give that disclaimer. No, but the healthiest of intentions can be met with challenge, but just know the more our children are not comfortable with speaking to us about what's going on with them, and the more that they think we want perfection out of them based off of how we act or how we present ourselves to them, matters to the communication breakdown. So let's make sure that as we don't expect perfection from adults, don't expect it from our children. Don't expect it from your children. They are here to learn in this life, inshallah, and we need to give them the space to do that without them destroying themselves or being reckless. It's a whole nother thing. We're not supposed to just let them blindly follow and just don't fall into a hole. We are indeed supposed to help them, guide them, make dua for them. Make dua for them, pray for them. Ask Allah for their guidance. Ask Him. Offer special du'as for your children, specifically by name for what each challenge that child might have, or each desire that child might have that is good for them. If they want to go learn Quran somewhere, make dua for that. If they want to go learn about art, dua for that, whatever their desires are. So I'll give you a really quick example, and then I'll let you guys go. But my second oldest daughter used to scare me to death with her skateboard. And I knew she loved it though. But I said, Allah, please protect her where she's riding it so that a car doesn't hit her, that she doesn't fall and break something, that somebody doesn't harm her, try to take the skateboard, anything. But to stop her from something that she really, really wanted to do. And she still enjoys skateboarding to this day in her leisure time when she can fit it in, because she's an adult now. But I had to make dua. I didn't want to crush her dream of learning how to ride that skateboard. And then when she started, and then I looked and I saw how great she was, I'm like, Allah answered my dua. She's not broken a bone. She's fallen, but she hasn't injured herself, and she hasn't had it taken from her, and so many things. And I'm so glad that I had to pull myself back and not be so afraid of this little flat piece of wood with 4 wheels. It took so much power from me, but I had to understand that empowered her. That's something that she loved to do. So yeah, make dua, even if it's on something very small or something very large. So yes, that's what I have to say on that. Please do not expect perfection from your children, because it is an impossibility. So with that, comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified next time we upload. And share this video, because sharing is caring. I am Coach Fatimah, and I will see you all in the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. I'm Coach Nadir.
And I'm Coach Fatimah.
And I'm Coach Nyla.
And we are the founders of Outstanding Muslim Parents. I want to introduce you to something that you may be interested in, because you seem like a proactive parent already just by the video we interrupted. All right. And that's called the OMP Inner Circle. That's where we all train deep dive into parenting. So whether that's the first stage of children up to 7 years old, or 8 to preteen in the second stage, or of course the teenagers and young adults in the third stage, we deep dive with the 3 C's as well as the 3 E's. So what our members get every single month, all of our students, they get brand new training every single week. That includes downloadable audios, downloadable worksheets, so you can deep dive into it. And of course, you have our personal email addresses as well. However, every single month, we have a live Q&A for all of our students. So we go to answer the questions or deal with different challenges and things that they may be dealing with parenting, because we know it's an ongoing struggle. Just us, here being the parents of 12 children.
Right.
Okay. So with that being said, I want to congratulate you on being proactive.
And make sure you click the link below in the description, and we'll let you get back to the video. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.